What if what you called love was actually control with a soft voice? What if the people who loved you only stayed when you made yourself easy to carry, because they never learned how to hold someone fully alive? You were never hard to love. You were just inconvenient to control. They never said the rules out loud, but I felt them like a script I didn't write. Be agreeable, be predictable, be who they expect, not who you are. And if I strayed from that script, if I dared to say no, to take up space, to tremble instead of nod, the affection disappeared. They called it love. But it was an arrangement, one where I learned to abandon myself just to keep from being abandoned by them. No one talks about the cost of being easy to love. They cheered my silence and called it grace. They praised my loyalty, never noticing it was bleeding. But behind every compliment was a warning. Don't change, don't grow, don't wake up. You begin to perform, not because you're fake, but because your nervous system knows the cost of honesty. And so you smile when you're cracking. You apologize when you're in pain. You disappear by degrees and call it connection. You rehearse your value daily, not as a birthright, but as a job description. You become fluent in emotional shape-shifting, and in the mirror, you stop recognizing the person staring back, because they only exist for the comfort of others. But something breaks. Maybe it's quiet, maybe it's catastrophic. Maybe one day you say, no, and the room goes cold. You watch love evaporate when you stop performing. You realize it was never safe. It was just familiar. Because real love doesn't flinch when you show your whole self. Real love stays when you have needs, when you shake, when you say, I can't carry this anymore. And when that kind of love is absent, you feel grief. Not just for the people who left, but for all the years you spent trying to earn what should have been given. This isn't just emotional, it's spiritual. When you're conditioned to trade your authenticity for approval, you begin to believe that being loved requires being manageable. But you were not born to be tolerated. You were born to be witnessed. Your anger is sacred. Your no is holy. Your complexity is not chaos, it's clarity. They didn't leave because you were too much. They left because your healing refused to bow. They were never committed to you. They were committed to your compliance. And you mistook that for love because it wore the right costume. But now, you're unlearning. You're learning that boundaries are not betrayals. That your discomfort with betrayal is not weakness, it's wisdom. You're learning to grieve people who only loved the role you played, not the soul you carried. You're learning that you don't need to shrink to be safe, that survival doesn't mean silence, and that the version of you who kept the peace at any cost was doing their best. But peace, built on your absence, is just a slow death. And you've chosen to live. So here's the truth. If someone only loved you when you were easy to control, they didn't love you. They loved the reflection of themselves you mirrored back. And now that mirror is shattered. Now you're remembering who you were before the masks. Now you're giving yourself permission to be seen, even if it costs connection. Because connection without freedom is captivity. You are not rebuilding. You are returning. Returning to the self that was never meant to be erased. Let them say you changed. Let them miss the version of you that made their life easier. You didn't lose them. You found you.